My name is Daniel Reeves. I'm 41 years old, a former U.S. Army engineer, and for most of my life I believed fear was something you could control. That belief ended during a winter expedition in Mark Twain National Forest, Missouri, a place I will never step foot in again. I went there in January to test cold weather survival gear. I wasn't camping for fun. I was prepared, experienced, and armed with knowledge. Snow covered the forest floor, and the trees stood like black silhouettes against a pale sky. It felt empty, but not peaceful. By late afternoon, I had set up a small shelter near a frozen creek. As darkness fell, the temperature dropped fast. The forest began to creak and groan as ice shifted in the trees. That was normal. What wasn't normal was the sound that followed. A knock. 3 slow knocks. Not on a tree, on wood, on my shelter. I froze, hand on my flashlight. No animal knocks like that. I stayed silent, hoping whoever, or whatever, it was would leave. Then came a voice. "Daniel, you can come out now." My blood turned cold. I had not told anyone where I was going. No one knew my name out here. "I know you're awake," the voice continued, calm and patient. I forced myself to respond. "Who are you?" Silence. Then footsteps crunching slowly through the snow, circling me. Each step was heavy, deliberate, and upright. I peeked through a small opening and saw a figure standing just beyond the trees. It was tall, unnaturally tall, and wrapped in what looked like old, torn clothing. Its head was tilted slightly, as if listening to my breathing. I noticed something worse. It wasn't leaving footprints. At 11:40 p.m., my radio turned on by itself. Static. Then my own voice. "Help me! I'm freezing!" I dropped the radio. That was my voice from earlier recordings. Played back perfectly, but distorted, stretched wrong. The figure stepped closer, its movements jerky like it was learning how to walk. "I can keep you warm," it said. The smell reached me next. Mold, rot, and cold iron. I grabbed my gear and burst from the shelter, running toward the creek. The ice cracked under my boots as I crossed. Behind me, I heard movement, but no panic, no rush. It followed, matching my speed. When I reached a clearing, I turned and shined my flashlight directly at it. Its face looked human at first glance, but the eyes were too deep, too dark. Its mouth opened wider than possible, stretching into something that tried to resemble a smile. "Why are you scared?" it asked. "You survived worse." Then it listed details from my military past, things no stranger could know. That's when I fired a flare. The red light filled the clearing, and for the first time, the thing reacted, stepping back, shielding its face. I didn't wait. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. I woke up at sunrise near a service road, frost forming on my jacket. Search and rescue later told me I was miles from my camp, farther than I could have walked overnight. They never found my shelter or my footprints, but they did find something else. Large tracks, stopping exactly where I had collapsed. If you're watching this video, understand this. Some things in the forest don't hunt you. They study you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion about this story in the comments. I no longer test survival gear alone, and sometimes, late at night, my radio turns on by itself, still playing my voice, asking for help. I hope this story was enjoyable. Write your opinion in the comments, and if you enjoy this type of true forest encounter horror, let me know so I can make more. My name is Rachel Monroe. I'm 29 years old, a freelance photographer from Montana, and 3 years ago I had an experience that permanently changed the way I see forests. What happened to me occurred in Allegheny National Forest, Pennsylvania, during what was supposed to be a simple solo photography trip. Everything I'm about to tell you is true, and I wish it wasn't. I arrived at the forest in late November, just days before winter fully set in. The trees were tall and bare, and the air smelled damp and metallic. I planned to camp for 2 nights to photograph fog and abandoned logging trails. I had done trips like this many times before. I wasn't reckless, but I was confident. That first day went smoothly. I hiked several miles off the main trail to reach an old clearing marked on my GPS. As night fell, the forest grew unnaturally quiet. No owls, no wind, just silence so deep it pressed against my ears. I set up my tent and began reviewing photos by lantern light. At 8:47 p.m., I heard a whistle. It was low and slow, almost playful. I assumed it was another camper trying to get attention, so I stepped outside and called out, "Hello?" The whistle stopped. A few seconds later, I heard it again, but closer and from a different direction. That's when unease crept in. I grabbed my flashlight and scanned the trees. Nothing. Still, I felt watched. The kind of feeling that makes your skin crawl without knowing why. Around 10 p.m., I noticed footprints near my campsite. Bare footprints. They were large, deep, and far apart, as if whoever made them had taken massive strides. I hadn't heard anyone approach. My heart started racing. I packed my camera bag, deciding I'd leave at first light. That's when my radio crackled. At first, it was static, then a voice. "Rachel!" I froze. No one knew my name. "Rachel, come back." The voice sounded distorted, stretched, like it was being played through something that didn't understand human speech. I grabbed the radio and shouted, "Who is this?" Silence. Then I heard footsteps circling my tent. Slow, heavy, purposeful. I turned off my lantern and held my breath. Through the thin fabric of the tent, I saw a shadow pass by. It was tall, far taller than any person I knew. Its head brushed against the lower branches of the trees. Then it stopped right outside my tent. I could hear breathing, wet, controlled. A hand pressed against the tent wall. It had too many joints. I screamed and kicked my way out the opposite side, running blindly through the trees. Branches tore at my face and arms, but I didn't stop. Behind me, I heard the footsteps again, but they weren't rushing. They were matching my pace. I tripped and fell near an old logging road. When I looked back, I saw it clearly under the moonlight. It was thin, towering, with pale gray skin stretched tight over bone. Its face looked unfinished, eyes too wide, mouth too long. When it smiled, its jaw cracked. It spoke again. "Rachel, you dropped something." It was holding my camera. I don't remember getting up. I don't remember running. I only remember waking up inside my car at dawn, parked crookedly near the forest entrance. My tent, my gear, everything was gone. The park rangers said no one else was camping nearby. No footprints were found, no radio signals recorded. But when I checked my camera's memory card, there was one photo I didn't take. It was of me, standing in the forest, looking back at something behind the camera. If you're watching this video, remember, when the forest calls your name, don't answer. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion about this story in the comments. I never went camping alone again. I hope this story was enjoyable. Write your opinion in the comments, and if you enjoy this type of true forest encounter horror, tell me so I can make more. My name is Andrew Coleman. I'm 38 years old, and I work as a wildlife surveyor in Washington State. My job is to spend weeks alone in forests, tracking animal movement and setting up remote cameras. I've had close encounters with bears, mountain lions, and wolves. I always trusted my experience. But one encounter in the Olympic National Forest still haunts me, and to this day I swear it was real. It happened in early October when the forest is thick with fog and the nights come fast. I was assigned to check trail cameras deep in an area locals rarely enter. Rangers warned me to be careful. They said hikers sometimes reported being followed, but no animals were ever found. I brushed it off as nerves. I parked my truck near an old service road and hiked for hours until I reached my campsite. The forest felt wrong. Too quiet. No birds, no insects, just the sound of my boots on wet leaves. I set up my tent and a small fire as the sun disappeared behind the trees. Around 9:30 p.m., I heard a branch snap behind me. I turned quickly, shining my flashlight into the darkness. Nothing. Then I heard it again, this time closer. Heavy footsteps. Too slow to be an animal. Too deliberate. "Hey!" I shouted. "Is someone there?" No answer. The footsteps stopped. I tried to calm myself, telling myself it was an elk or a deer, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. Animals don't walk like that. At 10:15 p.m., the smell hit me, a strong, rotten odor, like wet fur and decay. My stomach turned. I grabbed my radio, but all I heard was static. Then I heard breathing. Not fast, not panicked, calm. Right outside the ring of firelight. I froze. My heart pounding so loud I thought it would give me away. Slowly, I stood and raised my flashlight. That's when I saw it. A tall figure stood between the trees, at least 7 feet tall. Its body was thin but powerful, covered in dark, matted hair. Its arms hung too long at its sides. And its eyes, they reflected the light like an animal's, but there was intelligence in them. It tilted its head, studying me. I couldn't move. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs wouldn't respond. Then it took a step forward. The ground shook slightly. I backed away, my voice shaking. "I don't want any trouble." It opened its mouth and mimicked my voice. "I don't want any trouble." Perfectly.